My name is Bill Hilgendorf, and I'm a furniture designer in Brooklyn, New York. Uhuru is a Swahili word. It means freedom. And we initially, we really liked it graphically, actually, with the U's and the way the letters, in the capitals, the H kind of looks like a chair and the R is like a little table. And so that was one of the components, and the other was it came from Black Uhuru, the reggae band, which I was pretty obsessed with at the time and still one of my favorite bands. So, Uhuru style. Generally, simple forms with either sometimes more complex or decorative elements, like really modern forms, but then within the material, we like to try and show the beauty of simplicity in materials. So if it's a piece of wood, highlighting the figure, the grain pattern, or metal. Metal can have a really great texture. Minimal forms with, either decorative graphics sometimes, or highlighting the inherent beauty of the materials and trying to push that. Well, I studied industrial design, product design in college, and actually, I did a semester in Stockholm, Sweden, my junior year, and when I was over there, that was when I really started. That was the first time that I started building furniture. I knew that I didn't want to be designing some stainless steel trash can or shoes or a car or something, all that cheesy product design stuff. And I really just wanted to work, with my hands, building, with, materials, especially found materials. I think that summer I lived in New York before I moved down here permanently. I just was so amazed with stuff that people would throw out. Full pieces of furniture, materials, cut-offs of wood, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you walk around the streets in New York on a trash day and you never know what you'll see. Just really got inspired with all this material around, and thought wow, I could really make some cool things with that. Well, Uhuru, we've been about 5 years with Uhuru, and it's about 4 years from me full-time, and my business partner Jason just 2 years full-time. It's kind of an interesting story though, how we got started, because it's it's hard to start a business, so it's really difficult. And we basically started with almost no cash. We got just really kind of lucky, in the right place at the right time kind of thing. And I guess I give that to New York, and as a place where things happen, things work, things don't work, but there's always things happening. So we got this space, and then right at the same time, this friend of ours from school, his dad had a cabinet shop in the city. He actually used to build prototypes for Jean-Claude and Christo, who did the gates, in Central Park a couple years ago, and they've done many other, really big installations. He had his shop packed up for 10 years. He hadn't been using it, and finally his ex-wife was like, "Get this stuff out of my out of my loft, I want to use this space." And he didn't have anywhere to put it or any use for it, and we had just gotten this space, so he's like, "You know what, why don't you guys just take all these," it's all of our woodworking machines at the time, and that basically gave us the initiative to get going, gave us the means to actually start building stuff. And from there, we just sort of took jobs that we could get, and we just sort of started this little just network of, that we built around, and we'd pick up more clients here and there. And finally we got the website together, and then we eventually, only 3 years ago, launched our first line of furniture at Brooklyn Designs. Maybe this came from living in Sweden, that like during the winter when it's super dark and cold, you realize that your home is really important. It's a place where you spend probably more time than any other place, and it's really important, I think, having a nice home and filling it with things that you appreciate and that speak to you and bring from an emotional sense, bring us a sense of peace, a sense of solidarity, a foundation, is important to people to being happy and to being content. I guess through that, furniture is my medium for kind of trying to create spaces that are really comfortable and make you feel good.
Dominoes.